Some time ago, we met a cosmic being on whose corpse an entire ecosystem of magic users was born. Now, let's meet its doom, the Collectors. Hello everyone! The Collectors are cosmic beings from the best animated series, The Owl House. Godlike beings of incredible power that watch over existence to preserve and collect all beings they fancy, which is not creepy at all. With such a fun background, it should be really nice having a specky look at them. Big thanks to Space Boys for commissioning this episode, and if you like it, help me collect likes and subscribes to help our channel grow. And now, without further ado, let's get started. Ever since the discovery of the Boiling Isles, contact has been established with its communities, allowing both us and them to learn more about each other's worlds, ecosystems, and discoveries. Alas, not everything is out there in the open, and there are still many mysteries even to the Isles' inhabitants. One of these was brought to our attention after one of our researchers was contacted by an entity present in the Isles, who came bearing access to a wealth of information regarding a mystery that hid itself from even the Isle's oldest and wisest residents, bringing this info for no other reason that, as it claims, the thrill of having company. I will have to give thanks here to this contact, who so helpfully gave us access to information without which it would have been impossible to determine a lot about the nature of beings far beyond the current reach of our species. They referred to these beings as the Collectors. But first, some information on our contact, who referred to themselves by the same moniker. They presented themselves to our researcher and to our staff in a form very vaguely approximating that of a child. See, this form was a shadow, as in a field devoid of light, projected on the surrounding surfaces from a realm where the Collector claims to be incarcerated and unable to interact with the world around it in any other way. However, we were intrigued by the uncannily human way they present themselves, both visually and behaviorally. Given that this individual has, by their own admission, spent who knows how long observing our kind, we have reason to believe this likeness to ourselves is merely a result of imitation. The rest of their species, from what we've gathered, are vast, colossal bodies formed from loosely connected matter, more similar to large masses of cosmic dust than to physical beings, something they share with other beings in our files. Despite their vast sizes, larger even than the rocky planets found in our solar system, their total mass is incredibly low, owing both to their sparse composition and to some physical properties we will study in a moment. The clothes used by their single representative in our planet seem to allude to their regular appearance, but only in the loosest way. As can be inferred from their moniker, these beings dedicate themselves to the task of archiving and preserving beings from all species in the universe. It would seem the name of this entity, and of its kind, is simply a descriptor for the type of activity they partake in, with a subset of them being referred to in passing as archivists, but the nature of these descriptors still eludes us. This group and its social structure seem to be unlike what we could possibly expect from our experience. Despite the Collector comparing our work to that of their kind, it seems their organization has much less in common with what we would understand as scientific researchers and more with, mayhaps, monks, with the Collector themselves having been born in one of these groups and seemingly having formed part of it exclusively with no contact with any other member of their species. This would explain the fact that they not only call themselves exclusively by that name, but seemingly have no knowledge of their species beyond this particular group. That is, of course, assuming there is anything else to them. For all we know, this incredibly alien species as a whole exists only for the purpose described a moment ago. Their one and only task of preserving life in the universe as altruistic as it may seem at face value, is decidedly far from it. As indicated both by the collector's account and the murals among which they were found, this goal is fueled by scientific curiosity alone, with no ethical and moral preoccupations to get in their way. Whatever damage they cause through their incursions is of no concern to them, and should the subjects of their inquiry have any issues with the collector's work, the fate of the planet will be decided. When faced with any resistance whatsoever, they will annihilate the entire planet without hesitation, having seemingly eradicated more than one gem colony planet in the past. The way they go about doing all of this is, well, nothing short of godlike. Unlike what we had suspected in the beginning, the magic of these beings is not tied to that of the Titans and Omega particles. Instead, their mass seems to be partially composed of matter with high quantities of top quarks, the heaviest fundamental particles we know of. The collectors are capable of freely releasing and pulling these particles in order to create incredibly heavy points in space, gravity pits, from which their power is derived. The pull these gravity pits exert on matter allows these beings to alter the world around them, and by carefully utilizing them, the collectors are capable of, first of all, holding their mass together along the vast expanses of space it occupies, as well as transporting their mass across the universe. Well-placed gravity pits will, essentially, act as pseudopods, pulling the mass of the collector in any direction they wish. For greater reach, they can collapse matter into a wormhole, using it to teleport around space. These gravity pits can also be used on external matter to great effect, and they will use it to separate and reaggregate atoms into any form they wish, even transmuting the matter that makes up living beings and turning them into inanimate objects. More impressive yet, however, is the way they use these pits to manipulate light itself, concentrating and altering the movement of photons around them. The most basic use of this, as we've seen, is the ability to drive photons away from a certain area, thus creating shadows they can control at will, like that our contact used to present themselves to us. Other than that, collectors can concentrate photons into highly damaging beams or blasts, even infusing a ton of photons and the energy they carry into physical objects, thus making them highly unstable and explosive. And yet, all this power would turn out to have quite an interesting reaction to the presence of the Titan's magic. When interacting with Omega particles, the top quarks used by the collectors would change to a different type of quark, a property of the weak interactions between the two. They would change into the much lighter up quarks, thus negating the abilities of the collectors and leaving them unable to move or act at all. In time, as we would see, this would even allow a Titan to imprison a collector inside an Omega particle-rich zone. Faced with such a threat, the response of the collectors was swift and terrible. They started a devastating war before the Titans had time to understand what was happening, and the collectors had not only the advantage of preparation, but also greater organization. Despite their powerful abilities, the Titans, taken by surprise, were no match for the collectors. Aside from an individual we have yet to meet in our files, it seems there are no remaining Titans left. But still, who knows how much life has erupted across the universe from their death, if the ecosystems in the Boiling Isles are any indication. And as long as we have one individual left, there is still hope there may be more Titans out there. In the meantime, our center is working on releasing the captive collector, and our study in the properties of Omega particles give us good reason to believe we could find a solution to this issue soon. And that's it for Speculative Biology look into the collectors. And what a funky episode to work out this was. While in canon the collectors are presented as looking like humans, The motifs seen in their paintings, clothes, and magic give them a very celestial, astronomy-based look. So Spaceboys and I decided to give them a cosmic, almost Lovecraftian look, and abilities to go along with that to turn this into something quite spectacular. Boy, with all of this, some of our next alien lifeforms will almost seem tame by comparison, won't they? Another interesting thing here is, since in canon the magic of Titans cancelled out that of Collectors, I didn't want to use the Omega particles for this too. And after a couple false starts, we settled on using gravity as part of their biology and natural abilities. I really hope y'all liked this episode, and are excited to see more alien and cosmic stuff appear down the line on our channel. Here's a big thank you to our researchers and research associates who support us through Patreon and YouTube memberships, especially, once again, to Spaceboys for commissioning this one. Remember, you too can join in if you want to support our channel, and you get some nice perks too, like seeing all of our creatures and videos ahead of time and helping mold them into shape. Or you can also like, subscribe, write a comment telling me what other creatures you'd like to see, or why not even commissioning your own episode for the channel. Any of those are of great help. Thank you all for watching, and see you next time on the Speculative Wildlife Research Center.